The United States Senate returns to session next week, where work continues on a House-passed Affordable Care Act subsidy, and debates grow over President Trump's desire to take over Greenland. Joining us now is Senator Mazie Hirono. Aloha and good morning, Senator.
Good morning, Sam.
Good to see you. Okay, so President Trump said today at Davos in Switzerland that he is not looking to take over Greenland by force, but he is continuing to push for the United States to take over Greenland. What is the Senate working on as far as war powers?
Well, you know what? We're getting to almost the one-year anniversary of Trump getting into office, and I would say his regime is characterized by chaos, cruelty, corruption, incompetence, and we're a country of checks and balances. So you're supposed to start with a president and executive who says, "Oh, maybe I should consult with somebody before I invade a country, Venezuela, or go into another country, or maybe before I destroy half of the White House." But we don't have a president who thinks that way. We have a Congress who's supposed to provide some checks, some accountability. That's not happening with the Republicans. And then the third leg of checks and balances, which is our system of democracy, are the courts. And we have a Supreme Court that has really enabled this president to do what he wants, to the point where he doesn't think the rule of law applies to him. So chaos. Now, he can say with all the European leaders in Davos that, oh, well, maybe he's not going to invade Greenland. Gee, that's really great because he has no right to invade Greenland. But you never know what he's going to think next because he's out of control. And that is why checks and balances are so important, and those are not in place. And what do we have to do to put those in place? Hey, we need to elect people who pay attention, who will put some checks, who will put some parameters about what he's going to do. So when I go back, we're going to be not voting on extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies. So millions of people in our country will go bare, including people in Hawaii. We had a chance to vote on putting some limits on what else he wants to do with Venezuela. The Republicans wouldn't pass it. So you know, I think we need to be paying attention to what are we going to do to make sure that our democracy, this is real, this is a real threat. I see it being eroded every day. And what are we going to do to put it all back in place? Awareness, information. Speaking of which, by the way, this regime wants to get rid of federal support for public education. So I've been focused this trip on convening. Yesterday I had a roundtable with education advocates because federal support for Hawaii education is about $300 million of programs. Those kind of cuts will be very harmful to Hawaii. And so we convened, I had a group of people, and we'll work together to do what we can to shore up our support for public schools, because aside from housing, healthcare, education, those are critical supports for our community.
You bring up healthcare. You did speak about the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Yeah. 17 Republicans did join Democrats in passing that through the House.
That's in the House.
Yeah, how is that being received in the Senate?
It's not going to come to a vote in the Senate. So our leader, Chuck Schumer, went on the floor of the Senate to get this bill up for a vote, and the Republican leader said, no way, he's not bringing it up for a vote, which is why millions of people in our country are not going to have health care. And apparently that doesn't bother enough Republicans that they will do something about it.
As far as affordability goes, we are speaking with state legislators today. Yeah. That's their main focus as the 2026 legislative session opens up. Federally, obviously, there are all these cuts. Is there anything that you're working on to help Hawaii's affordability?
Well, the whole thing is that we need to work very closely to keep track of what's coming down the pike with the federal government. The state legislators are aware that they're going to probably need to shore up some of the cuts, like the governor had to step in when SNAP was halted, and they provided $250 for the SNAP recipients so that they could have food. So the legislature is aware that they're probably going to need to shore up these federal cuts, but we're going to do everything I can. I'm certainly going to keep doing everything I can to stop these harmful cuts from happening. And let's hope that even the Republicans will start hearing or listening to their constituents when they say, wait a minute, why aren't you guys dealing with the affordability crisis that we're all facing for food, for housing, for health care? Meanwhile, you have an out-of-control president who wants to take over the world, apparently. Some people would say it's bananas. It's nutty. Well, but I'm doing my best as with the Democrats to halt this out-of-control regime.
Very interesting times in Washington,
Yes.
D.C. I know you have very few
I could
minutes to
go
share
on,
with us here in Hawaii, but I appreciate you stopping by with us
Yes,
during your
thank
week
you.
off. Thank you, Senator Hirono.